All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Elite Talk Show. I am your host, Sarah, out of Syracuse, New York.
DMC Grizzly, your heavily disputed,
And
trivia champion.
And I
yes,
am
making
Bryan.
his return to the podcasts.
Yes.
Good to be here.
And I am Bryan Bella from Portland, Oregon.
All right, so the Elite Talk is, of course, our AEW discussion show, appropriately named, of course, because we are Elite. So we'll start this week out with injury news, if there kind of is any. Ricky Starks indicated, was limping and took a kind of a big, heavy bump on his neck. He assured fans that he was going to be fine, though.
So bad news, huh?
Yeah, I thought his match with Paige was pretty good, though, this week.
Yeah, no, I actually really like Paige. Anything with Paige, of course, I'm going to be a fan of. I do wish Mr. Starks a very speedy recovery.
It's unfortunate because they haven't really done a whole lot with him so far other than have him in tag matches and stuff. And if you saw what he did in NWA, you know how capable he is, especially as a former NWA television champion. So this is not cool, but, he's a resilient person. He's going to heal fast. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine.
He's a young talent. He'll recover and be good, just fine. And he has plenty of time to shine.
Tons of time. And tons of charisma, too. He's great.
Okay.
Kurt Angle was on
We can get through one
his
topic.
podcast. He's got a new podcast out. Yes. So Kurt Angle revealed on his podcast that, I guess questions came up, whether or not he was talking with AEW about coming on, their brand. Revealed there was a few, text messages exchanged, nothing serious. Says his relationship, you won't see him in AEW anytime soon. Good move, bad move?
I think Kurt Angle is a legend, and he's just going to kind of do whatever he wants. Maybe someday he'll be there. Maybe he won't. I don't know. I watched one of his WWE things, and I have actually a lot of respect for him. So I didn't at the time.
He's enough of a legend that he should be able to come in and out and do single appearances, kind of wherever he wants. Like, same thing with Mick Foley. Like, I think we're just kind of used to it with WWE that, Vince will try to sign you for 4 years, just so you don't go somewhere else and you might show up twice. Like, you can't treat certain people like that. And he's one of those people, I think. So Kurt Angle's going to do what Kurt Angle's going to do.
If he wants to appear in a random episode of Raw or SmackDown, he'll probably be there.
Hopefully it's not another segment with Baron Corbin ever again, ever.
So speaking of legends and icons, Sting said this is the best wrestling he has ever seen. He made those comments to fans after Dynamite went off the air. Kind of grabbed the mic, talked to the crowd a little bit, pumped the crowd up for Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, and they were chanting, Sting an icon.
Mm-hmm. I gotta agree with Sting. It is kind of the best wrestling on TV right now. Sure, we have other companies that may do a little better on some things, but as far as wrestling, AEW has the best talent out there right now. Or I shouldn't say talent, the best wrestling out there in the States. Because if you go to New Japan, they're pretty top of the line too. But they're right there, neck to neck.
Yeah, you really can't tell me that any regular television program is better than Dynamite. Like, I mean, even if you don't like it, it's still really good. It's all fantastic wrestling. I mean, we saw so much. Just take last night alone. Like how many different styles of matches did we see, and how many kind of meshings of styles did we see? I mean, there was a whole lot going on in the show, and they got something for everybody. And it's also just might be the best time ever for wrestling. There's so many promotions. There's so much accessibility. I'm watching Effie versus Mike Bennett right now in the background on a Thursday night. Impact's going on somewhere else. Like, and this is supposed to be the off night. Wrestling rules.
I hate to say, I don't think there's really going to be any off nights for a long time. Maybe Saturdays, but that's when indie shows come back, and there is going to be no off nights except when there's no Sunday pay-per-views.
Oh man, I've been checking out all.
By the way, as we are getting shows
no
back, don't forget to support your local promotions.
Support your local indies.
Because I can guarantee you'll at least see one star from there.
If you don't know what your indies are in your area, drop a comment. We'll tell you. I will tell you.
Yes. There's certainly indies, at least in every state. It might only be one or two, but they're there.
You can drive.
So speaking on his own podcast as well, 83 Weeks, a good podcast if you've never checked that out. Eric Bischoff discussed the ending of the Wednesday Night Wars and how that was a good thing and how ultimately it will benefit both companies. Agree? Disagree?
Disagree.
Why?
Care to? Yeah.
I don't believe that we need to have wars or anything like that. I actually think so. I disagree as far as the war, like pitting companies against one another. I'm totally against. However, with that being said, I'm a big fan of other companies having the same exposure as each other. That way, fans can choose themselves, et cetera, et cetera.
I think it's great for everyone. Yeah, we don't need any wars or anything like that. But imagine if everybody was like in cahoots. Like you couldn't think of a better way to do it, right? Like you do battle for 2 years, and then AEW would come out on top because they had the more viewership. And like if you were secretly running that promotion, also it'd be a great way to get it over. We all know that's not what happened, but this is great. I mean, if AEW is going to continue to do like 1.1, 1.2 million numbers, that's great. You hope it gets higher than that. You'd like to see AEW eventually getting Raw numbers, which they're not very far behind, and Raw isn't giving people much of a reason to watch right now. So they're right on the heels of the flagship shows of the WWE and of the wrestling that's pretty much dominated the airwaves for the last 30 years.
I mean, it's still better than SmackDown.
Of course. No debate. I'm just talking numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just numbers. Strictly numbers.
Yeah.
I think Triple H kind of dodged that question well today when he said, well, it wasn't really a war. You're honestly, you're always up against everything else. And while he was dodging a question, he was also 100% true. And that is something we forget very often, is that we are going to be going up against sports and politics and, all that stuff all the time. So the fact that we're breaking those barriers even and, making people not watch reruns of Frasier and the Golden Girls, which I absolutely love. But they would instead sit down and watch a wrestling show because you can catch all that stuff at 1 o'clock in the morning anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Oh my God, you're Dorothy. Sorry.
Was that a Dorothy moment? Did I have a Dorothy moment?
No, but you said Golden Girls, and then I was like, which out of us three, who's who?
Oh, I'm totally Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're probably Estella.
Thank you. That is such a great compliment.
Yep. I think it's true.
She basically raised me like that. Like I grew up on the Golden Girls, and like they would just sit me in the TV, and like
Estelle,
I would pick up Sophia's like one-liners. Like my personality is a lot due to hers.
Right.
Anyways.
Fantastic.
So are you calling Sarah Rose or Blanche?
I think that Orlando is definitely our Rose. Like 100%. So I'm not sure where Sarah falls for our Golden Girls. Which Golden Girl do you most identify with?
Also kind of Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I guess, more of a mixture.
Yep. That's fair.
Well, thank you everybody for coming and joining us on our Golden Girls talk this season.
Dude, can we do that? Can we have a Golden Girls night? I'm way into it. Like
Totally can.
We'll watch a whole random season and talk about it.
Hey, weekends are for open discussion shows, so we can definitely do a Golden Girls show or TV show.
Yeah, I love my girls. I need my
But
girls.
we have to come dressed as your Golden Girl.
Totally. Yeah, I'll come as B. Arthur any day of the week. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. Back on topic. So yes, as we kind of touched on, AEW's Dynamite viewership did drop a little bit. It was 1.2 million last week and fell to 1.104 this week. Not that much of a dive. Not really to be too concerned with, as far as I feel. Ever since these Wednesday Night Wars ended, both episodes they've hit 1 million plus viewers, which definitely a big step in the right direction.
I agree. Good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah, this isn't much to worry about. It's always gonna fluctuate by 1 or 200,000. I don't know why I did that for fluctuating, but apparently that's what fluctuating is. That's okay. It's fine. Like, I mean, there's gonna be a 300,000 or 400,000 range, and if 1.1, 1.2 is kind of always our average, that's really good. That crush your head, and then there's only room to go up.
We'll have to see how they do during the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But I mean, we also have summertime coming up, and that's usually a slow time for sports, even though we are going to have the Olympics. So I think we're set up for a really good summer of wrestling, especially as we start to get more crowds. The numbers, the shows start to open back up, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Well, if we're going to sidetrack a little bit here, what's your favorite Summer Olympic sport?
Ooh, Summer Olympic sport. I mean, I kind of like the decathlon and swimming. I love watching the swimmers.
I too like swimming. Believe it or not, this fat
Right.
bitch was on a swimming team.
Were you the butterfly? Were you breaststroker?
I was a breaststroker and I did the butterfly. I also did the backstroke.
You're so talented.
Thank you. I'm not just pretty.
It's pretty. I swim like a fish.
I like watching the different races as well. I used to actually do track when I was in high school, and then I got bored of it and quit. But that was decent.
Oh, I like the floor exercises too, because those are ridiculous, and I just can't imagine ever being able to do that.
I just think of Will Ferrell in Old School? The floor exercises when he's got the
With the ribbon.
Yeah, the ribbon.
I did that actually at summer camp one year. It was pretty epic.
I believe it.
It was pretty magical.
All right, so on Grilling JR's podcast, Jim Ross talked about one talent that he really, really wants to get in AEW. Says it'll benefit both him and AEW. He wants to see Will Ospreay in AEW.
Duh.
I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, Will versus Kenny, Will versus Hangman, Will versus Darby. Good God, that would be an insane match. The
Ospreay versus
Will
Jungle Boy.
Will versus Penta. I mean, what all do you want to do? I mean, he's amazing. I'd take him any day of the week. I'll take him for one show. I mean, if Will Ospreay and Okada show up in AEW, I will absolutely lose my mind. Absolutely lose my mind.
I did hear he was going through a divorce recently from B.
Oh, are they getting divorced?
I read something about that. I was actually shook. And
So that's why she left.
Yeah. That's the tea.
Imagine getting divorced to someone and then being able to give them a cutter in front of a large group of people. That's pretty wrestling.
I'm sure that was stiff.
Strangely amazing. It didn't look great. Hope you're okay, B.
Divorce streams.
Divorce dreams. Divorce goals.
So let's say you only get Will Ospreay in for one match in AEW. Who do you want him to go against? I'm going to put it out there. Ospreay versus Hangman.
That's who my mind went to, but it changed.
I want Ospreay versus Pac for a belt. I think that would be amazing. I mean, Kenny's the obvious answer, but I mean, let's think beyond that.
Did they ever fight over in Japan?
I'm trying to remember. I think that they did have some matches, but I don't know.
I think if you only get him, if you only get him for one match, you want to go against where you haven't seen him against yet.
Right. Look that up. Yeah, they've fought in PWG, I think.
Okay, so way back yonder.
Yeah, but that's not, that's not a huge show. I mean, PWG is huge, but it's not as well broadcast as New Japan. So I guess they didn't fight each other in New Japan, but that was just the first thing that came up. I'd have to research that a little more.
I'm going to say Penta.
Yeah. So I was also thinking Ray Phoenix, too.
Also, to throw it really weird out there, Darby.
Yep.
That would be good.
Okay, so their only singles match, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, was in PWG. They were in a ton of tag matches together in New Japan, but never in singles. So that's interesting.
Very. So according to a report from Bleacher Report, Christian Cage was asked about whether or not he would return to Impact Wrestling as part of the AEW partnership. He said as of this time, he has no plans to go over to Impact and wrestle. He wants to stay with AEW and help build their brand. And he's completely focused on being with AEW.
Is that Christian Cage?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think AEW really suits him. I think that he is able to do things that he always wanted to in WWE, but at the time he was kind of a wrestler before his time. I don't know. I really enjoy his matches. That's all.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. I like he definitely can elevate other guys. He definitely made Will Hobbs look really, really good, like better than he has in a long time.
Yeah, well, Hobbs was. I mean, I think that we were talking about that last night, and we were kind of all over the place on it. I thought Hobbs looked pretty good. I mean, he does need some help still, but I mean, we also forget that the younger guys are gonna look like that against veterans anyway, just because the veterans are so experienced. So sometimes the younger guys have much better matches with other younger guys because you're kind of all the mistakes don't quite stand out as much. But I think it's really smart for Christian to stay in one place for a while. There's no reason for him to go on tour. He just got here. So maybe he can do that for a couple of years, and then if the right storyline comes along, then he can hop over to Impact for a second. But I think they're still trying to keep the brands pretty separate, which is smart. It's cool to have a working relationship, but not everything be such a clusterfuck. Although I imagine we're going to get something like that eventually because they've been pretty chill. So I think at some point you're going to have some sort of worlds collide, super, super crazy, massive pay-per-view in the future once you can have fans again. I mean, why wouldn't they? It would be great.
I concur with his statements.
You could create your own brand new, kind of WrestleMania for the fall time.
Oh my God, it would be so much bigger than WrestleMania.
It'd be huge, and you could still
have.
have.
I don't know why recently, but I hate WWE right now. Not the wrestlers, just management.
Man, it's been a slow burn for me personally for a while, and I actually only started watching Raw again recently. I haven't been I didn't watch Raw for a month. I just watched the results. I just didn't turn it on. I didn't care. And you know what? I didn't miss anything. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
You're like, Fuck them.
It's just like on SmackDown. How many times have we seen some combination of the Mysterios versus Otis and Gable?
Yeah, they keep giving us the same matches. Like we literally saw Viking Raiders versus Cedric and Shelton Benjamin 2 weeks in a row, and saw the same result, the same match, the same everything. Like what? Don't waste my fucking time, man. There's so much wrestling. Why should I watch yours?
Preach. I was really trying to snap, but I washed my hands before and I had like no grip.
So let's talk a little Double or Nothing. We're about a month or so away from that. It looks like we're going to get Britt Baker versus Sheeda. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't feel very fine about it at all, Sarah. Thank you for asking. No, bullshit. Ty should have got that. But I'm not going to lie. I think that match is going to be absolutely amazing. I think we're going to see things that are top level, next level women's division stuff, because we both know that both those girls are not afraid to throw down and get dirty and get hurt. So it's going to be a banger.
Yep, not upset about this at all. It's kind of like, okay, cool, perfect timing. Let's do this right now. There's a strange octagon on the New South show right now. Actually, I don't know what's going on over there. That looks interesting. Yeah, this is going to be great. I mean, I hated that Ty had to lose, but I mean, it's not her time yet. I wouldn't even say that she's not ready. It's just not her time. That match they had last night was a really good mix of kind of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu style versus strong style, and you know, kind of going back and forth. It was really, really a great match, and I kind of hoped that it would have been the main event. Although I can't complain about having Jungle Boy Darby Allin main event. So last night was another one of those mid-road really good episodes, and I can't wait for this feud. And honestly, I need Britt Baker as champion for a while. It's time.
I hope Sheeda actually retains.
I'm cool with that too. I mean, if you want to let Sheeda hold the belt for 3 years, I'm 100% cool with that, because Britt doesn't need a belt. She's super over. Let's not forget that the belt is technically a gimmick, but I'm cool with it either way. I just want to see them, kick each other's asses.
I do think they're going to have Britt Baker win. They've been building her up for a while.
It's time.
See what happens,
It'll be an insane match. I hope it goes on forever. If it was a time limit draw, I'd be really happy with that, actually. Imagine a 60-minute war between the two of those people.
Next discussion topic. Should the TNT title only be defended on TV and not pay-per-views?
Yes.
No.
Daniel?
I don't think so. I mean, if it was like the NWA title where it had separate rules and the matches were only 5 minutes, then I think that would make sense to me. But since it's not, like, there's no difference in the stipulations of the match or the time period or anything, I don't see any reason that you can't also have it on a pay-per-view.
I just think it makes it a little more special if you only have it defended on TV.
Agreed.
The only problem I have with it is if you're gonna have a storyline for that champion, the pay-per-views are typically supposed to be payoffs for storylines, and then you start something else. So whoever your champion is, if you treat it that way, you can't exactly pay something off if it's a non-title fight, unless it's perfect.
But you have those, special edition type Dynamites, the Fighter Fest or Beach Breaks, or Winter's Coming, where you can go in and have those big pay-per-view style payoffs.
That's a very good point. I guess the only problem I have with it is, like, if you're going to have a champion, like somebody like Darby, like say Darby holds the belt for 2 years, right? And then you're not going to have him, pay off any major storylines on a pay-per-view for 2 years. But you're totally right about the bash at the beaches and everything like that. So maybe I don't know, maybe it would work.
It'll be a wait and see kind of thing.
Wait and see.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
from my perspective,
Wait and
Sarah's
see.
right and Daniel's completely wrong on this.
It's good to be back.
Wah, wah, wah. And last discussion topic also
Thank
came
God.
off the Grilling JR podcast. He kind of let it drop that AEW will be touring again. During the summer. He brought up the point that AEW has scheduled or rescheduled some of their TV shows for August. Said he feels they'll actually be happening a month before that, but can't confirm anything 100%.
Since the hospitals are getting full again and it's increasing everywhere, I think we need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like everyone's so ready to just like let it rip, and especially as we get everyone gets vaccinated and everything. But I mean, if it's just going to make the numbers go up, like nobody's life is worth me being able to go see a wrestling show. Right. I've certainly evolved into how to deal with that over the last year, and I'm willing to do it for a little bit longer if it means we can get everyone healthy and then get to a point where we can have 100% capacity shows and everyone can get back to work. So I can't, as much as I want it to happen, I can't say it's a great idea, but I don't have much control over that.
And I think that's why they haven't fully said anything, just because we don't know what it's going to be like at that point.
Yeah, we don't know where they're going to go. We don't know what states are going to allow things to happen. We don't know what governors are going to say completely insane things for no reason, unprovoked. Or
Florida.
For a reason unprovoked. Yeah. Well, yeah. Tennessee, Mississippi. So we'll see.
Florida had so much potential too.
Mm-hmm.
Still does. It's full of talent. We just gotta harness it.
All right, so that'll do it for the Elite Talk show today.
Can we talk
week,
about one more thing before? I don't want to end our discussion on Florida. That's so depressing.
Sure. You got something in mind?
Yeah, I want to talk about independent wrestling for a second and like how we see how AEW has survived through all this, and obviously the WWE is going to be fine because they've got tons of money. But like I'm watching this show here right now. There's probably like 80 people. They're spread out there in Alabama, so probably half of them aren't wearing masks. But these promotions are able to survive doing these smaller shows and with the help of IWTV and Fight TV. So as much as like you don't want to encourage large groups of people, it is cool to see small groups like this kind of gathering together and helping out the wrestlers that don't have huge contracts and are still trying to hone their craft and everything. And like as we've seen with AEW, a lot of the guys you see here you're going to see eventually at least once or twice in AEW, possibly permanently. So I just want to give a shout out to independent wrestling and tell all these promotions that I am going to do my part to go to some shows, and you should all have IWTV subscriptions. It's only $10 a month, and support for just 49 cents a day. You can help a professional wrestler feed his family. I think it's less than that. It's like 29 cents, but go out there, help the independent wrestlers.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
Buy some merch.
It is 33.3 cents a day for IWTV.
What a deal. What a deal. The show's costing me 33 cents right now. It's fan-fucking-tastic.
Actually, Brian pays for it, so we're good.
And even that,
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
I'll let you borrow my Joshi Pro sub.
So speaking of independent wrestling of the sorts, Alex Gracia is joining us up on the lockup, and that episode will drop next week.
So excited about the number one to be on the cover of Maxim magazine, by the way, Alex Gracia. You know who's number 3? My good friend Shannon Robbins. So I had to vote. I had to vote for both of them just to be fair, but I'm super excited to talk to her. It's gonna be cool.
Yes. And also, we'll be the week after that will be New York Championship Wrestling's owner, Johnny Patches. He'll be joining us on the lockup as well.
Huge. Looking forward to talking to that man. It's gonna be very cool to learn more about that promotion.
Mhm.
I am so
Support your
nervous to
indies.
talk to Alex.
I hear she's really cool.
Mhm.
She seems really cool. She's the pink dream. How could she not be cool?
It's definitely going to be exciting.
Very exciting.
I don't even know what I'm gonna ask.
I'm working on it right now. We should also probably go ahead and buy the NWA subscription, so when she asks if we have an NWA subscription, we don't have to lie to her. I'm gonna go buy it right now.
Wait,
Yes.
what's the NWA subscription? I don't know about this. Tell me more.
So NWA Power is back on Fight TV for only $5 a month. You can watch, and I guess they're gonna do like a pay-per-view style once every couple, like either 6 weeks or 2 months. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing yet because it just came back. But NWA Power is back on Fight TV. It's only $5 a month. Subscribe.
And she has been wrestling on Power as well.
Yeah, that's her main shtick.
So are you able to go back and watch all of them?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm going to do tonight.
That's exciting. I'm going to join you, Daniel.
All right. Fantastic.
And also, we'll have another surprise, which will be dropping on Sunday morning. So check our Facebook and Twitter page for that.
Ooh, I'm excited. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, we don't even know. What are
Other than that,
talking
you can check us out on Twitter at BuckleBomb. We'll discuss off air.
about? Okay.
Oh, I almost got it for you guys.
You know it's been discussed. It's just there's never a date set for it.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, check us out on BuckleBomb ENT on Twitter. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on your podcast for us and on YouTube. Daniel, where can they find you if they want to?
DMC Grizzle. You find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm usually on the BuckleBomb Entertainment Twitter all the time. So if you want to get at me, you can shout at me there or on my Twitter at DMC Grizzle. And this is your heavily disputed, excuse me, trivia champion. I beat Aaron J. Harder, signing off.
I cannot wait till somebody beats him now. And you can find me at Bryan Bella, BBE, on Twitter.
Solid.
Yes. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.